Many new iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max users are looking for the best external storage options for their new iPhones so that they can take advantage of the external recording feature that now the Pro and Pro Max models offer. You can record ProRes footage up to 4K 60 externally using the native camera app, and you can also record a lot of other video codecs externally using the Blackmagic camera app, which I am using right now. In this video, I want to talk about two great compact storage options with high speeds, and that is the crucial X9 Pro and the X10 Pro. One of these offers pretty great value for the price, and the other might be overpriced, at least for Apple users. All right, before we dive into this, I want to specify again and just emphasize, I am talking about the crucial X9 and X10 Pro from the perspective of somebody who is a Mac and Apple product user. Okay, it's important to keep that in mind because when we talk about my main issue with the X10 Pro, it may not apply to you if you use other devices, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. And also, just so you know, I purchased both the X9 Pro and the X10 Pro myself. This video is not sponsored, but I do have Amazon affiliate links in the description. If you decide to pick up either of these drives and you want to support the channel, those links are down there. Okay, so let's dive in. What are you looking for in a storage drive when it comes to a potentially good option to pair with your iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max for that external recording? Well, one thing would be a compact and lightweight form factor because you don't want a huge brick to carry around with you, especially if you don't have an overly elaborate camera rig where you can actually mount something. Now, I'm using one of these right now to record this video onto my iPhone 15 Pro Max in ProRes Apple Log. I'm using one of the X10s connected to a USB-C hub, which is connected to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I'm recording using the Blackmagic camera app. I'm gonna do a full breakdown of my YouTube filming rig with the iPhone 15 Pro Max in a separate video. I wanna focus on the drives themselves in this video. But the main takeaway is the X9 Pro and the X10 Pro both fit the bill when it comes to their form factor. They're both very, very small and lightweight. They are the exact same size and dimensions. They have a bottom side which has a bit of a rubberized texture to it to prevent them from sliding around too much on your work surface, but they are very lightweight, so they are going to move around a little bit. They both just have a single USB-C port, but they do have a light, an indicator light actually in this little ring area that lights up when it's in use to let you know that it's connected and powered on, and also when the data transmission is currently in process. And these both come in the same storage capacities. They're available in 1, 2, and 4 terabyte options. These two right here are the 2 terabyte options, and I'm recording the video onto one of the 4 terabyte ones. Now, when it comes to transfer speeds, this is where we run into my main concern with the X10 Pro, because this is where the X9 Pro and the X10 Pro differ. It really is in their USB interface that they use. The X9 Pro uses USB 3.2 Gen 2 and crucial states a maximum read and write speed of just over 1,000 megabytes per second. The X10 Pro, on the other hand, uses USB 3.2 Gen 2x2, which is a different USB interface that has a dual channel design and is capable of about double the transfer speeds, and crucial states a maximum read-write speed of about 2,000 megabyte per second. And of course, as you would imagine, the X10 Pro is more expensive than the X9 Pro because of that faster maximum speed. And therein lies my issue with the X10 Pro, because 2x2 is very different than just standard 3.2 Gen 2. For the X10 to reach its maximum stated speeds, you have to have a device with a port that is 3.2 2x2 specifically. Anything else will not reach the maximum stated speeds. So why am I harping on this? Well, because for Mac users, especially us Mac users that have devices with Apple Silicon, they have been trending towards Thunderbolt ports for the last several years. For example, my 2021 MacBook Pro, which has an M1 Pro processor, has 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports. And even though Thunderbolt 4 is capable of supporting faster transfer speeds than 3.2 Gen 2x2, it's not a 2x2 compatible port. And you're gonna get about half the stated maximum speed on a Thunderbolt 4 port. The same is gonna be true on a regular USB 3.2 Gen 2 port when you connect the X10 Pro. You're gonna get about half the stated maximum speed. And I verified this by using the Blackmagic Disk Speed Test app on my MacBook Pro. I ran the test 3 times so that I could get an average read and write speed, and it came out right around 920, 925 megabyte per second, both read and write. And that was with the disk formatted to the Apple APFS file system. So what about the X9 Pro? Its stated maximum speed is only half of the X10 Pro. However, it is regular 3.2 Gen 2. That means we can actually get the theoretical maximum speeds. So I ran the same Blackmagic disk speed test with the X9 Pro, same settings on it, same computer, and I got nearly identical read and write speeds out of the X9 Pro that I did with the X10 Pro. So the issue with that is that the X9 Pro is less expensive. If you're going to connect the X10 Pro to a device that does not have a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 specific port, then you're not going to get that maximum speed. And honestly, in my opinion, you're better off getting the X9 Pro instead. Again, specifically for Mac owners, as we've seen the last couple of years, Mac for Apple Silicon devices, they've been trending towards using Thunderbolt or USB 4 potentially, but they're generally not building devices with 3.2 2x2 ports. There may also be an older generation of an Intel-based Mac out there that has a 3.2 2x2 port on it. I'm not entirely sure. If you know there is one in existence, let me know down in the comments, but that would be an older device that's Intel-based rather than one of the new Apple Silicon devices. I haven't personally tried to edit the ProRes footage in DaVinci Resolve directly off of one of these drives, but these speeds are good. I don't know that these would be the ones to try and edit off of, especially if you're recording in, the highest quality all the time. But if you are concerned with getting the absolute maximum speed and you need external storage for a Mac device, then I would personally recommend looking into getting an internal SSD in an external enclosure. This enclosure is just one I got off of Amazon. I'll put a link to it in the description. It does support the Thunderbolt 4 speed over the USB connection. So when you use a Thunderbolt 4 cable to connect this to your Mac that has a Thunderbolt 4 port on it, you will get really, really fast speeds out of it. The specific drive I have in here, I'll put the exact model up on the screen. It is from Western Digital, and it consistently gets over 2,000 megabyte per second speed, both read and write. I'll show you the speed test of that one while I'm talking as well. However, this is definitely not as travel friendly as one of these because this is dust and water resistant, maybe not completely dust and water proof. It's not, the most rugged thing on earth, but it's definitely better suited to just throwing in a bag than one of these. This is, not sealed at all. You can definitely damage this. So if you need something super fast to sit on your desk, I would recommend going this route or at least looking at this and considering it. Now, one other thing just to keep in mind, if you are shopping for one of these with the intent of using it to record externally from your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, is that you're still going to be limited by the speed of the USB port on your iPhone. And the Pro and Pro Max both have a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, which matches the same maximum speed as the X9 Pro. So if your main purpose is to use your drive for that external recording, you're not going to get any faster than 3.2 Gen 2 speeds. At the end of the day, I really do still like both of these drives. However, there's one other issue that, in my opinion, makes it not the top of the top choice for Mac users specifically, and that would be the firmware support from Crucial. Right now, if you go to Crucial's website and you look up how to update firmware on their external SSDs on a Mac device, you're going to find a convoluted process about burning an image file onto a disk and then loading that, and what Mac device out there has a disk drive at this point? Now, if you're a Windows user, there is an app you can download from Crucial's website to update the firmware on your Crucial devices. But there is no such app for Mac OS, and they have had external drives on the market for several years, so the fact that they haven't added a Mac version of that firmware updating tool is kind of concerning to me. Now, it's software, so it's always possible that any day now Crucial could release a Mac version of that tool. But again, just the fact they haven't done it yet, even though they've had SSDs on the market for a while, that's a little concerning to me. Now, I personally am still okay using these with my iPhone and my MacBook. I haven't had any performance issues with them, but it is a little bit concerning to know that if there was a need for a firmware update, if there was a bug they had to fix or something like that, I would have to get access to a Windows computer so that I could download that software and install the firmware update. And that could definitely be a deal breaker for a lot of people. So at the end of the day, do I recommend these? Are these a top choice for pairing with your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max? Well, if you can't tell by now, I think the answer for me is they're not really like the pinnacle best of the best. I really wish I could recommend them as the top choice because like I've said, the form factor is fantastic, the storage options are great, and they also are pretty good value for the price. They've been discounted pretty regularly on Amazon and directly on Crucial's website. I haven't said the pricing on here because I never know exactly what the pricing is going to be, but I can put up on the screen what the suggested retail price is. And just you'll find out if you go look them up whether they're currently listed on sale for a discount or not. But in my opinions, especially at sale prices, they are a good value per gigabyte of storage. It's really just for Mac users, those two issues. With the X10 Pro, you're not going to get the maximum stated speeds with any of the modern Apple Silicon devices since they've really gone for Thunderbolt ports and not the type of port that the X10 Pro uses. And so I think the X9 Pro is a better choice for most Mac users, but at the same time, I can't really say it's a top recommendation because there's no Mac OS support for updating the firmware in case you ever needed to. That being said, if you're okay with not being able to update the firmware on Mac OS, maybe you have a Windows computer and a Mac computer so you're not worried about it, then yes, I do think especially the X9 Pro is a great value for the money, a great travel portable choice to use with your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max. It's just a matter of whether any of those issues I mentioned are deal breakers for you. So that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about the X9 Pro or the X10 Pro. Let me know if you have either of these drives and how they are working for you. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button if you did find the video helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to the Semi-Pro Tech and Gear channel if you haven't. Thanks everybody, see you next time.